Attention maggots, I'm Sergeant Slaughter. If you'd like to get a Sergeant Slaughter photograph, autograph, how about a poster, one of a kind with my two nemesis? Or if you'd like to get a t-shirt, you're welcome to do that also. All you gotta do is go online at sergeantslaughter.com. Have you got that? Do it today, and that's an order. Don't make me come looking for you, maggots. Anything else? Okay, you're dismissed.
Creative Continuity. We bring the convention to you.
Creative Continuity, Harold Gang, here with the legendary Jerry, the King Lawler.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
How exciting.
So what got you started in this journey of yours?
Are you asking me what got me started in wrestling, or are you asking me what got me started in doing the artwork that we're here today at the Baltimore Comic Con to showcase?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Well, actually, I started doing artwork a long time before I even dreamed of being a wrestler. Probably when I was 5, 6 years old, as a little kid, just drawing mainly Superman, Batman, superheroes. I was real fascinated by that. And as I got older, I continued. And when I at first started thinking about what I wanted to do in life or a career, I just imagined that someday I would be a comic book artist. That's at least what I, wanted to do with my life as a kid growing up. All the way through high school, then I majored in art and wound up winning a full tuition commercial arts scholarship to the University of Memphis, and I was pretty much set, intent on being a commercial artist.
Wow.
And then one day, one ill-fated day, for some reason, my dad was a big wrestling fan, and he and I would go to the matches there in Memphis on Monday nights. And one day I drew some caricatures of the professional wrestlers there in town, and on a whim just sent them to the TV station. I don't even know what I was expecting, but anyway, the next Saturday morning I turned on the TV, and there were the two announcers, Lance Russell and Dave Brown, sitting there welcoming everybody to Saturday morning wrestling show. And I saw my drawings, my pictures were sitting on the desk right there, and I went, yeah, that's why I said, oh my God, they're going to show my art. And sure enough, he said, gets to halfway through the show, and he said, hey, we got some artwork sent in by a young fan named Jerry Lawler. Here's some pictures you do of Jackie Fargo and Tojo Yamamoto and the different wrestlers. And so when the show was over, my phone rings, and it was the announcer, Lance Russell. He calls me up and says, hey, all the wrestlers liked your artwork and want to know if you would send some more next week, and we'll show them again. So it became a regular thing that I was doing caricatures, and they were showing my artwork in lieu of having to send a camera crew down to the Monday Night Wrestling. Instead of highlights, they would show, I would draw sort of like a courtroom artist, would draw highlights of what went on in a trial. I became like a ringside artist for the wrestling. I would kind of draw what went on in the matches the previous Monday, and then they'd show it the following Saturday. Finally, after a few weeks of that, he calls me back again and says, hey, some of the wrestlers want to meet you. They got some artwork they'd like for you to do. So could you come and be on the show? So then, this was like, oh my God, now I'm on television showing my art. Met the big star wrestler at the time was this guy named the Fabulous Jackie Fargo, bleached blonde hair, big tough guy. And he comes to me and he said, kid, I like your artwork. I want you to come down. I own a nightclub. I want you to do some paintings at my club. So I went down and did that. Anyway, make a long story short, Jackie and I became good friends. And I was fascinated with the lifestyle of the wrestling and watching him and going to shows with him and things like that. And I just thought, man, this has got to be the greatest life ever.
Wow.
So finally I started hounding him. I said, Jackie, could I just try wrestling one time? Could you just let me have one match? He said, no, kid, you're too good an artist. You don't want to get involved in wrestling. Stick with art. I kept hounding him, and finally he said, look, if I let you get one match, you promise me you'll go back to be an artist and continue that the rest of your career? And I said, I promise. Of course, that was 43 years ago, and now I'm still doing the wrestling, but at least with Mike Kingston's comic book Headlocked and some of the other artwork that I've been doing. Have I got one? Can they hand me one of those comic books? I've been able to get back into the drawing. This is the comic book I did the cover for, and I've done the cover for some Dynamite comics, Zorro comic books. I've done the cover for WWE comics, and so I've had a chance to kind of get back in and come into things like here, the Baltimore Comic Con, get my feet wet again and doing the artwork. So now that I've bored you to tears, you asked for it.
I had no idea. I had no idea when they said
it is funny. I mean, a lot of people only know me from the wrestling aspect of my career. They don't know, that I have done art my entire life. But yeah, it's a cool thing. The cool thing about this Headlocked comic book is the fact that not only is the cover done by me, an artist, the interior work is done by a professional wrestler from Australia. All the stories are written by guys like Hurricane Helms, Chris Daniels. I mean, just a ton of Mr.
Right.
Kennedy, a ton of professional wrestlers are all involved in this project. So it's been a lot of fun, and I think it's gonna be a real big success.
I think so too. Wow. Creative Continuity with Jerry the King Lawler. Thank you, the legend. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. Thank you.
All right, signing out.
And now let me ask you a question, my friend.
Sure.
When you get stuck out here having to do these boring interviews, what are you really thinking of? What is really going through your mind while I'm sitting here running off at the mouth? Are you really thinking like, man, what am I going to order for dinner when I get out of this place? Or,
Not
"Man,
at all.
I really need to go to the bathroom.
Not with this interview. Not
Really?
at all. Not with this interview.
You were actually listening to what I was saying? Oh,
I'm impressed. I had no idea.
Well, thank you. It's been my pleasure. And listen, anytime you ever want to come back and interview me again, call in advance so I won't be here. No, I'm just kidding.